During the next half hour, we'll take you to a news conference on Chicago's West Side where Catholic leaders announced anti-violence initiatives for the city. We'll give you a first-hand look at the great work being done at Holy Trinity School for the Deaf. And a Catholic school principal gets the surprise of her life as she learns that she's the winner of a Golden Apple Award. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
The Archdiocese of Chicago is a vibrant and diverse faith community. We celebrate our faith through worship, evangelization, and reaching out to the needy. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Hello, I'm Todd Williamson, Director of the Office for Divine Worship with the Archdiocese of Chicago, here in studio with Cardinal Blase Cupich. Cardinal, it's good to see you again.
Todd, good to be with you.
Thank you, thank you. Say, 2 days before this taping, the Archdiocese announced a major initiative in regard to anti-violence. There was a big news conference. Before we take a look at some of the highlights of the news conference and talk about some of the specifics about this initiative, tell the viewers, where did this come from?
Well, as I mentioned in the news conference that we had, the day that I arrived here in Chicago to be installed as the Archbishop, I was asked at O'Hare Airport, what are you going to do about the violence? And I said at that time that I had read about it and I could see that the problems were complex and I wanted to take my time. So I've taken the last 2 years to learn more about it, and last year I established a commission to help me look at what are some of the root causes of violence, but also I wanted to become familiar with the projects that we already had going. So I asked all of our universities, social offices, Catholic Charities, Mercy Home, and others to come together and provide me with an inventory of all of the projects that we're doing, from soup kitchens to drug rehabilitation to the whole business of restorative justice for people who come out of prison. And that really is where all of this then came together for me to make an announcement that we could do some things to enhance what we're doing, but also some new projects. Wow,
wow. Yeah, I think that's important to note because I think a lot of people can look at this and see, because Chicago's been in the national news lately, right?
Yes.
That this isn't just in response to that. You've been thinking about this for quite a while.
Well, yes, and the other thing that helped focus for me the importance of anti-violence was the Pope's message at the beginning of the new year for his World Day of Peace, in which he said it's not just enough to be against violence. We also must take up the work of peace building.
Yeah.
And he was very clear about how we do that it has to happen in the schools and in the homes, in neighborhoods. So it seemed to me that we could respond to what the Pope wrote at the beginning of the year, and so I had a chance to share that with him.
Nice, nice. You know, it was quite an impressive turnout of the media at the news conference.
Yes.
It was held at the Peace Corner Youth Center in the 5000 block of West Madison Street. Along with you and leaders of the Peace Corner, there were also leadership from Mercy Home for Boys and Girls and from Catholic Charities. Let's take a look at some of the highlights of that news conference.
Okay, great.
Every day, 30 to 40 youth count on Peace Corners to be open. One of the only safe places they can go after school and in the summer. We work every day to make Austin neighborhoods safer, better, more productive, and nurturing place for young people to flourish. We offer a variety of programs, including career development, outreach, sports, mentorship, tutoring, summer camp, and employment programs.
I met with a number of the pastors and ministers and other denominations in the African American community over this past year. I've had different times, and time and again, as one of them said to me, the civil rights movement in Chicago would not have happened if the Catholic Church did not take a lead. And I was touched by that. And the message to me was, we need the largest Christian community, the largest religious community here in Chicago, to step forward and bring us together. And I think I have a responsibility to respond to that. It's not about the church. It's about whether or not we should leverage our footprint and our presence in the community to be a magnet to bring people together.
We are mindful that in this neighborhood, young people are hungry for mentorship, for a safe place to come, and for hope. Catholic Charities provide shelter and counseling, job training, housing assistance to ease the desperation that begets violence. We have seen violence reduced by interventions such as these, and we know we can make a difference if we spread our impact even further. And we are proud to be part of the Cardinal's Anti-Violence Initiative and invite all people of goodwill to become involved.
It's about prayer. It's about praying for peace in our community, praying for peace in our neighborhoods, praying for peace with our families, and praying for peace for our young people.
You can watch the entire news conference on the Archdiocese website, archchicago.org. Click on Archdiocese Launches Anti-Violence Initiatives. Cardinal, a number of moving pieces that are part of this initiative, the least of which is not that the Pope wrote you about this initiative.
Yes, when I saw him just last week when I was in Rome to give him an update about things, I told him about our initiative, and he was very enthusiastic about it and said that he would like to support it and to offer his word of encouragement in the form of a letter. So he prepared this letter, which I was able to read on the occasion. It is to the people of Chicago, not just to the Catholic community, nice. To assure them that Chicago is in his prayers, but also as we do the Way of the Cross on Good Friday, he wanted to make sure that we knew that as he did the Way of the Cross in Rome, he would be with us, walking with us on that occasion.
Wow,
yeah.
Wow. So this is the letter from the Pope about that.
He has a very, very tiny, tiny signature. And he did it not only in English, but he did a version in Spanish as well. So the English is signed Francis, and the Spanish is signed Franciscus.
Really?
Yes.
Really? What can I just ask? How does that make you feel to have such personal concern from Pope Francis about our archdiocese?
Well, he I think, is concerned about the issue of violence in the world. Mm-hmm. So when he saw that we were doing something about violence, he wanted to make sure that people understood that when he wrote the letter at the beginning of the year about anti-violence and peacemaking, that he wanted to encourage other churches to do it. So by encouraging our one church, he is encouraging everybody to take up this work of nonviolence.
And thereby the world, right?
Exactly.
Right. Among other things, there was the announcement of an Instrument of Peace Venture Philanthropy Fund. What is this? What's it for?
Well, the commission that I put together to give us an inventory about what we're doing came back and said to me, you know, we have a lot of small neighborhood projects, parish projects, that need a few $1,000s here and there in order to carry on their work, and they're doing tremendous work with great effect. But there really wasn't any foundation or niche fund that would support them. So I said, okay, I will take some of the money that people give for my own discretionary charities, $250,000, and seed a fund attracting hopefully others to do this as well. Wow. So we are working to promote this for any group here in Chicago, in the Archdiocese of Chicago, to make sure that they can continue those wonderful works, whether it's, for instance, helping young people learn about nonviolence through retreats, or those who are helping with victims of violence in terms of the grieving process that goes on, to ways in which people can come together and really kind of take back their neighborhoods and organize themselves. So that was something that was a strong recommendation to me, and I'm having discussions already about how we can make sure that it's not just for Catholic organizations or even Catholic funders, but that we do something here in the city for those small neighborhood-based communities that are doing so much good.
I know this sounds cliche-ish, but it's putting our money where our mouth is, right?
It is, and these are kind of like the microloans sometimes that you hear about in the world that allow people to do businesses in ways that are more creative and entrepreneurial. Well, these are grants. These are mini grants that help people who are doing such good work to let them know that the support is there.
Catholic Charities, Mercy Home for Boys and Girls, both of those organizations, which already do tremendous work in the Archdiocese, are part of this. And they've been part of the planning for, I think, a very powerful witness to all of this that we're planning for Good Friday. Talk about the Stations of the Cross in Inglewood that the Archdiocese is sponsoring.
Well, we thought it would be very important to bring people together, to have an expression of solidarity, that we really can take up this issue together of violence. And so we're going to a part of the town where there have been a number of killings, shootings. And we're going to take the Stations of the Cross and make the stations the places where people were killed.
Oh, wow. Oh,
because it seems to me that we want to make sure that people don't turn away from the fact that real killing and dying is happening in the city. And that's where Christ is. The Holy Father has this expression in which he says people are always asking, where is God in the world? And he says God is in the voice of those who cry out in despair. And that voice is the voice of Christ saying, come over here, this is where I am, but bring your humanity and help me better the situation. And so I think that that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to go to those places where, in fact, people are crying out in desperation, and because that's where Christ is. And Christ is asking us to come there and to bring our humanity to that moment to better the situation. And as an ecumenical event, we're able to do this. But we're also going to reach across the lines and have law enforcement and other people who are involved in the city as part of the actual walk that we're doing. And those kinds of bonds, I think, are very important in the city to build solidarity.
What, I think, a terribly profound statement that the Archdiocese is making on a very important day. Right?
It is, and I think that the Pope wants the Church to be a field hospital, and that's, this is an expression of that.
Since we are recording this program before the Good Friday Walk for Peace, I want to let viewers know that you can go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Catholic Chicago, to view the impressive gathering of people who walked for peace on Good Friday. Cardinal, that's one of the many things you'll be doing on Good Friday. We're, as of this recording, we're right on the verge of Holy Week. Are you looking forward to it? It's one of the most powerful weeks of the year.
It is. I find that it's, you know, there are a lot of activities and there's some busyness with all of the liturgical ceremonies, but I find that it's a very restful, peaceful time for me to enter into the prayer with the community. So I'm really enlivened, enriched by it, energized by Holy Week, and especially when you see people of faith coming together. So it should be something, I think, where we're going to have a different way of celebrating it this year, given the anti-violence initiative.
Yeah, but powerful nonetheless, and life-giving, right, for the whole Church.
Right.
We're going to switch gears a little bit here. Immigration concerns continue to grab headlines given the political climate in our country. The fears of immigrants were a big part of the discussion at Immaculate Conception Church on 44th Street in Chicago recently. That's where the Spanish television network Telemundo broadcast a town hall meeting with opening comments from Cardinal Cupich, a panel that included Immaculate Conception's pastor, Father Manny Durantes, and an audience willing to share their feelings about immigration uncertainty. That uncertainty makes the work of the Archdiocese's immigration ministry critical at this time. The ministry's mission, in part, is to advocate for compassionate immigration reform. The ministry also educates Catholics and the general public regarding the basic human dignity of immigrants and how they benefit our nation. In an effort to further its outreach to communities, the Immigration Ministry recently held a seminar for priests to help them better deal with the ever-changing landscape of immigration.
Things have changed so rapidly and are changing daily that I think the confusion leads to fear, and we're trying not to move in that direction, but the confusion, hopefully to ask some more questions to get clarification. And luckily, thanks be to God, resources are available in our Archdiocese through our Pastoral Meditoria group that we have in our parish and many parishes. So it really helps to get some specific information. What do we know and what do we not know?
What we are trying to do now is ensure that people are informed regarding their legal rights and their legal remedies. When we first saw deferred action for childhood arrivals, we did consultations for thousands of individuals, and of those individuals, 15% were eligible for more permanent forms of immigration relief. So I think it's really important at this time to try to alleviate the fears, is that people get good legal advice.
My parish is a lot of people undocumented, and they have some fear, and we see that when we work together, when we got the advices from professionals that help us to share with our community, with our people, with our parishioners, and we can really help them.
The church and other organizations within the communities, I think those institutions that are really the foundation of those communities, can be very helpful in light of circumstances, in terms of not only providing that physical space, but also that direct sort of resource of information. So, if NIJC has information about something new, if the Chicago Volunteer Legal Services has information about something new, we would want to make sure that those partnerships exist so that we can communicate that information, and then the church can distribute that information to their parishioners and the community members.
Our role as priests is to shepherd people, is to accompany them, to walk with them, to listen to them, to pay attention to their needs. That's always been the job of priests, shepherds. It doesn't matter what the issue is. And we always need to be attentive to what the people are feeling, what they're going through, with things that they need help, so that we can respond. That's the job of a pastor.
Resource packets were distributed to all the priests with immigration materials that could be handed out at their parishes. Cardinal, I know that the whole issue of immigration is yet another major concern for you.
It is. We're just trying to put a human face on this issue. We know that there are laws that have to be observed, and also the fact that there really is a need to make sure that families are kept together at the same time. That's why the church has always pressed for comprehensive immigration reform. We've pushed for the Senate bill to be now used in the House of Representatives. We think this is the only way forward. You can't do things piecemeal, and so a comprehensive approach has to be the answer.
Mm-hmm. Anti-violence, immigration, major issues that face not just the Catholic Church, but the whole world, and yet the Archdiocese is taking a lead in these works, in these efforts against them.
Well, we should. This is what the gospel is about. And I think that this is the kind of issue today, both of these issues are at the heart of Jesus' mission of healing, that why he came into the world and why we are his disciples.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And of course, the life of every Catholic is to be concerned with these major. This, as you said, is the gospel message.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Can we talk a little bit about Catholic schools, because they're in the news now as well?
I'd be delighted to. Yes.
Yeah. We have two stories. First, let's visit a very special school on Chicago's near West Side. It's a school that has served the deaf and hard of hearing community for 60 years. Producer Jim Dish and videographer Mike May give us a first-hand look at Holy Trinity School for the Deaf.
Welcome to a morning prayer service at Children of Peace Catholic School at 1900 West Taylor Street in Chicago. What makes this prayer service so special is that it includes more than 20 children who are deaf or hard of hearing. They attend Holy Trinity School for the Deaf on the Children of Peace campus. Holy Trinity has served the deaf community for 60 years. 2 women being honored this year have filled the role of principal for 57 of those years, and their combined service at Holy Trinity is an incredible 99 years. Phyllis Winter was the school's first principal. As a member of the Sisters of Christian Unity, she helped launch the school in 1957, and she's still active at Holy Trinity today.
Phyllis Winter sort of exemplifies that Christian virtue of perseverance. This is a woman who came here as a religious when there was a neighborhood here, when Holy Trinity was just a small school, and through all these years of setting up the University of Illinois and creating the medical center and the neighborhood kind of disappearing, this woman has just stayed and stayed and stayed, totally focused on one thing: the education of children who are deaf and hard of hearing.
It was a great privilege for me to begin to serve with these youngsters. A challenge for sure, and it was a huge difference from teaching regular hearing children. To come into a room where the children had no language whatever, and to begin to use what I could suggest, pictures, experience, and putting that into language for them. It was hard work, but it was so wonderful to see these youngsters grow with their language, with their speech, and to know that they were going to be able to really rise as great citizens someday.
Phyllis Winter's passion for teaching the deaf and hard of hearing is mirrored in the creative and innovative work of her successor, Arlene Redmond. Arlene is the daughter of deaf parents. And growing up, her goal was to become a teacher for children who were deaf and hard of hearing. She achieved that goal, came here as a teacher, then became the director of the deaf program, then became the principal of the school. Not to the exclusion of hearing children. Actually, what Arlene did was amazing. She worked with children who were deaf, but said, wait, let the hearing kids participate in that. And so we have something that's called reverse mainstreaming. So mainstreaming, the idea is you put children who are deaf into hearing classes. Well, now we take some hearing kids and we put them into deaf classes. So they learn to communicate in voice and sign too. Just an amazing educator. And thanks to educators who are following in Arlene Redmond's footsteps, Holy Trinity delivers on its philosophy of total communication. That means helping deaf and hard of hearing children learn in both the deaf and hearing worlds. Students look up to role models such as Michael Gaurige, an alumnus of Holy Trinity, who is now a teacher's aide.
I worked here for 3 years, and when I began, I came as an aide, and then I started looking back at the teachers I had and how I admired those teachers and what they had done with the deaf. So that's kind of what I want to do, is be a teacher, a full-time teacher in the future.
Students are evaluated and placed in the best learning environment to fit their needs. They learn with other deaf and hard of hearing students and are mainstreamed into Children of Peace classrooms when appropriate. Hearing students at Children of Peace are even taught the basics of signing. For hearing impaired students, learning at Holy Trinity is a fun experience.
You like the math, the science, social studies, and language arts.
I like that culture.
He likes deaf culture.
I like the basketball.
He likes basketball, volleyball.
Why do you think Mom and Dad sent you to this particular school instead of sending you to a public school? Because there's a deaf program here and deaf children. What is special about Holy Trinity School? What do you really learn here that you would not learn in a public school? I would learn religion. Can you tell me some of the sacraments that you have already prepared for and have finished? my older teacher, Miss Farrell, she prepared us for the sacraments of reconciliation and for Eucharist. That's wonderful.
While the children of Holy Trinity are excited to go to school every day, their parents remain thankful that such a school and its dedicated group of teachers are ever present for their kids. Michelle Mendiola is a Holy Trinity graduate who now has 2 deaf children attending the school.
The staff and the teachers, they are the best. They are just amazing. They're very, very supportive and willing to work with me, my children. It's been a very successful experience at a successful school.
60 years of success, to be exact. Congratulations to all involved. With videographer Mike May, this is Jim Dish reporting from Holy Trinity School for the Deaf.
Well, congratulations to all those at Holy Trinity. Cardinal, I've never been to this school, but I know you have.
I have, and it's they do just terrific work to help. And you know, they have students who are hearing as well, so they mix.
Right.
They make sure that they mix their community together so that people aren't ostracized or feel
in
as
the
though,
classrooms.
Yes, and in the whole school. So they do quite a good job of making sure that there's really integration of young people who have hearing problems, but also those who can hear. And it's really wonderful to see the way they work together. And of course, they're all learning sign language.
Yeah. That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Another good story, right, in terms of our Catholic schools. Congratulations also go to the principal of St. Teresa's Catholic School in Chicago for winning a Golden Apple Award for leadership. Mrs. Phyllis Cavallone-Jurek got the good news from local anchorman Rob Johnson as she arrived at school. The entire student body was on hand to greet her and celebrate her being the first principal from a Catholic school to receive the award.
I am so blessed. I look at you and I just don't know how any moment could match this. This is just beyond words. You touch my heart, you touch my soul. I want to thank you and let you know that it's a joy to come to work every day. And I feel completely surrounded by love. And I'm so happy and blessed. Thank you so much.
Cardinal, the first principal from a Catholic school to win this award. That certainly must make you feel proud.
Well, and I was on hand, and it really was a delight to see the young children there. It's a Chinese community by and large, and they were just euphoric about it. And she was stunned to learn, but also stunned by their reaction.
And stunned by the presence of you, of the
Well,
Rob
I
Johnson.
think she was more stunned by getting the award, but also the reaction of the young people, which was so warm and endearing.
That's fantastic.
Yes.
We're in one of the busiest seasons of the liturgical year.
Right.
There's an awful lot going on. Heavy subjects like immigration and anti-violence that we talked about, but also these stories. It's been a great half hour. Cardinal, thank you very much for spending it with us.
Thanks
As
so
always,
much.
It's good to see you.
Always good to be with you.
Thank you for watching. I'm Todd Williamson. Join us again here for more Catholic Chicago.
We invite you to watch segments of Catholic Chicago and hundreds of additional Catholic videos at youtube.com/Catholic Chicago. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter.